So in this lecture, I'll be giving a brief word on pseudo classes. So pseudo classes let you style elements based on the state or position in the document. So simply stated, so based on the state. So for example, if I were to click on an element, if I were to hover over an element with my mouse cursor, and so forth and so on, right? If I had visited this link, for example, so that's how pseudo classes might work. So let me just give a demonstration of this. First of all, what happens if I hover here? Let's just say I wanted to change this background color to purple. So how I would do that is I would go header. So this is our header here, right? So I could just header and I have to go colon and then go hover. Okay, now I want to change the background color to purple. So I could just say background color is purple now. I'm just going to refresh this web page and there you go. So whenever I hover with the mouse here, it changes it to purple. In a similar way, I can also sort of like use other styling. For example, I could just change the height here to 20 VH. So what is the height at present? So the height at present is approximately 30 VH. So I could just making it smaller to 20 VH whenever the mouse hovers. So let's demonstrate how this works. So I'm just going to refresh. And when I hover, you notice that it sort of shrinks in size. So another cool thing here is I could use the active pseudo class. So I could just say H1 active, and let's just say I wanted to change the color of H1 to green, like so. And by the way, H1 is here. So H1, say useful pseudo classes, it's this text here. So when I click on it now, it should be green. So let me just refresh, and then if I click, you notice that it's getting green. So that's how that works, and some useful link pseudo classes that exist. So I could just say a focus. So how does the focus pseudo class work? So the focus pseudo class basically works by, let's just say if I were to click on this and I were to press tab, so that's called focus. So I'm focusing by pressing the tab key to the cap key. So this is very important for accessibility. So for example, I could change the background color to orange, for example, whenever I focus on a certain link. So say focus of background dash color orange. Okay, now I'm going to refresh. So I'm going to focus now by pressing the tab key. So tab, notice that the background color is orange when I focus on this link. And another cool one here is another cool property for links is visited. So visited is what happens when the link has been clicked. So for example, if I go visited and if I change the background, if I change this text color to gold, so whenever the link has been visited, it will change the text color to gold. So for example, if I click on link 4, so link 4 now is no gold, and if I refresh, so it's been cached, so it will remain gold. And so that's how that works. And if I were to visit link 2, again, it will also be gold in the following way. And A is unvisited, which is like the normal state. So another important pseudo class for links is link. So whenever it's unvisited, that will be the default state. It will be red, for example. So in this case, it's blue, but now I'm just changing it to red. So overriding the default styling. So I'm just going to save this, and then I'm going to refresh. Notice that it's red. So let me just deal with a button here. So for example, what happens if the button is in a disabled state? For example, now it's in an enable state. So in order to change the disabled property or to make it disabled, I just have to explicitly state disabled property here. So disabled. So what should happen to the button? It changes color, background color. So what if I were to change this background color to a different color? So for example, if I go button, then I go pseudo, and then I go disabled, and let's just say I would make it white, the text here white. For example, when it's disabled, the text will be white, so color white, and let me refresh. As you can see, it's disabled, the color is white, and if I were to remove the disabled property, it should return back to normal. So for example, so it's no longer disabled, there you go, so it returns to black and your default styling. So that's how some of the pseudo classes work. There are certainly others that exist, and I encourage you to look at the documentation. Thank you very much.